Zeophates, oxygen not included, tutorials, tips, and tricks. And welcome everybody. So today we're going to be talking about bathrooms. I'm going to take you start to finish, how to build, design, and set up your bathrooms. First thing you're going to want is up here in this room overlay. A latrine is a toilet and a wash station. This is going to give you a +1 morale bonus. So realistically, I could block this off. Put a door in place. And that's going to give me a latrine, which is going to give me a +1 morale. So why don't we stay with this? Well, these are going to require dupe interaction in order to keep them functional. The toilets are going to need to be plunged, and they're going to need to be disinfected. The polluted water is going to need to be removed from the basins, and water is going to need to be put in, which means they're going to have to come over and grab the water from your pump. So this is a labor-intensive process, and your dupe's time is your greatest resource. So you want to try to minimize what they have to do. So to that end, we're going to start building a full-on bathroom. Let's just quickly destroy this. So first things first, we need to get a platform set up for it. I personally, let's just get rid of these. I personally, between my platforms, prefer a space of 5. Dupes can climb up 2 blocks, and they can also jump gaps of 1 block. So I trapped a shine bug inside the block. That'll happen even when you're doing normal build. Why do I do this? Well, first things first is flow of gases. Because 2 gases can't mix, they can't occupy the same square, this allows 5 squares for gases to be moving up and down, side to side. It also enables me to have a large area to put conduit and piping that is going multiple areas. So, what do we need for a bathroom? I generally operate on, I need 2 floors. Why do I need 2 floors? I'm going to be using 1 floor for the bathroom, and I'm going to be using the 2nd floor as the cleanup. So, we got our 2 floors built. First things first, let's go over researchers we're going to need. Now this is just going to be getting the bathrooms up and running. This is not going to be dealing with what you're going to do with all the extra water and else like this. So the first thing you're going to need, the very first thing is you're going to need advanced research. The reason why is because you're going to need that supercomputer. From there, we're going to need plumbing, sanitation. We're going to need distillation. And we're going to need yeah, that's what we're going to need straight off the get-go in order to get this system up and running. So you got, and this is the exact reason why we need that advanced research, is for distillation. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, the first things we're going to want to do is we're going to want to set it up so that we've got our rooms set up. And again, we're going to come in here, we're going to look at our washroom. And this washroom is going to require flushing toilets, plumbed wash stations. There can be no outhouses and no industrial machinery. It has to be a minimum of 12 tiles or a maximum of 64 tiles. Well, how do you figure out space? Well, if you come along here, it tells you in that dig category. Let's get up here where it's nice and clear. It shows you we've got a 16 by 4 space, and that is a total of 64 tiles. So now we know our bathroom needs to stop here. In order for this to be classified as a room, we do, of course, need a door. Well, what else do we need? Well, assuming we've got all our research is now done, we need lavatories. I personally usually have 4 dupes per scheduled shift. The reason I do this is because 4 seems to be a decent number to get stuff done. And what I'll do is I'll simply add another shift, and I'll just simply, where the bathroom starts, that's when the next shift's downtime will start, and so on and so forth. I'll just repeat this pattern. The reason why I do it this way is because for every dupe you have on the schedule for one specific time period, you need a single lavatory. Because, like I said, they're all going to want to go to the bathroom at the same time. So I'm going to assume, because I'm actually going to have one soon, I'm going to have 4 dupes. So we got our latrines built. Now we're going to get our plumbed sinks, and we're going to build them. As you can see, it's just enough room. Always have only one entrance into the bathrooms, because inevitably what will happen if you don't is the dupes will turn around and they will enter in through here, but they will leave through over here, and then they won't wash their hands or anything else like this, and then you got the germs going everywhere. Okay, so we've got our lavatories and our sinks built. Okay, now what? Well, what we need to do is we need to go into refinement. We need to find our water sieve. And we're just going to chuck that down here. This is going to need power, and it's going to need sand. Well, since we know it needs power, let's grab our... Generally try to upgrade to jumbo batteries as soon as you're able to. I'm going to put down a jumbo battery. I'm going to put down our pneumatic wheel. You can use whatever power source you want. I generally try to stay away from coal for the first while, because right now I have no way of dealing with CO2. Okay, so now we got to get this stuff plumbed in. So from our water seas output, we're going to actually slightly change how I'm going to do that. We're going to get our pipes laid out. We're going to connect all of the liquid inputs for this system. Okay. We are going to have our pipe coming out there, and because I only have one space here, I have to leave that empty. The reason why is because we're going to use a bridge to make it so the water's going to flow in here, out of here, and it's going to flow into here, and it's going to fill this system up. Okay, well, the next thing we need to do is we need our output. Try to avoid connecting an output directly to an output, simply because it has a tendency to start jamming up the system. So we're going to bring that pipe, we're going to connect all the outputs, because it's all going to flow into here. So right now, all that is missing from getting this system up and running is water. Well, we got some water over here, so I'm going to do this a little bit differently than I normally would. Normally I just use whatever water batch I have in order to do it. Let's destroy that. But for now, I'm going to make a liquid pump. And we're going to turn around, and we got to just quickly connect this to power. Just a quick note on power. When you're using the wheels, try to keep your energy cost below what your wheel is producing. That way you're not going to have a dupe just sitting on that wheel non-stop. They'll go on, they'll run for a while, fill the battery up, and then they'll leave it alone for a while, and the battery will slowly drain. Okay, I'm going to get a bottle emptier. And I'm going to set it here. I'm going to set the liquid to water. Going to give it a high priority, and I'm going to tell it to enable the auto bottle. What the enabling the auto bottle does is it means with it disabled, the duplicants will not go and pump water out of here in order to dump it into here. They'll only grab bottles that are sitting out in the world, which is useful for cleanup. With enabled, the dupe is going to turn around and they're going to go and make a bottle of water and send it over here. So now we need to get the pump hooked in. The amount of water you want to add to this system. I generally say you need enough liquid so that everything's turned on which you can see from the tanks it is full. Theoretically speaking, I can now let that sit. I'm not going to do that. I want at least this section here full. Why? Because that's going to make it so that... Okay, there we go. So I'm going to immediately shut that off. And let's just tell them to dismantle that because we're never going to need it again. Now that that is up and running, we can come through here and we can get rid of our old setup. We're not going to need it anymore. So now we go look at rooms. We've got our +2 morale that they're going to get anytime they go in and use this bathroom. So the question becomes now, well, what are we going to do with any extra water that the system generates? Because it is going to generate extra water. The reason why it's going to generate extra water is because the laboratories pull in 5 kilograms of water and they produce 11.7 kilograms of water. That's per flush. So every time they flush, you're going to gain 6.7 kilograms of water. And since right now this is a closed system, you're going to have the problem of, if you don't do anything from here, this pipe is eventually going to back up and your bathrooms are going to shut off. So we need to deal with the water somehow. So that is going to be the next section.